Hello?
Hello, Steve.
Who is this?
Just a guy who wants to play a little game.
Sorry, buddy, not interested in your pranks.
Don't hang up on me.
Listen, weirdo, I don't want to play any of your games. Wait, this is a sex thing, isn't it? What? I knew it, you're just a pervert. What? Ew, God no. Don't try and deny it. I'm not a pervert, I'm a murderer, thank you very much. Oh really? How are you gonna murder me then? I was gonna kidnap you.
Yes please.
Tie you to a chair. Kinky. And stick my knife into your soft flesh.
Freaky.
You sound like you have soft lips.
That's it. I'm out. Fuck this.
Hey, don't leave me hanging.
Hello?
Happy Halloween, everyone. With the spooky season upon us, I thought it'd be a good idea to do a Halloween special. I wasn't sure which horror icon to pick for this video, but if you read the title, I'm sure you can guess which one I chose. Now, I don't know much about Ghostface in general, but for some reason the costume has become something of a sex icon.
Don't be intimidated, Squidward. Try to imagine him in his underwear. Oh no, he's hot!
With that being said, I decided to do Ghostface before this trend even started, and I thought that trying to beat the game with only a knife while wearing a Ghostface mask would be too generic. I decided to add some mods to make this even more fun. I will explain the mods I used as I go, and without further ado, enjoy the shit show. It started like any other challenge as I randomly picked a face, did some paperwork, played with a mobile, and was given an impromptu nuclear shower. Thankfully, the vault had an ice bath to relax in as I watched my wife get shot in the face. After getting thawed, I locked the roaches behind a door, grabbed my Pip-Boy, relocated some special stats, and then was finally able to escape into the world. I immediately went to a chemistry station in order to craft my first mod, Scream's Mask by Straw, a mod that adds 3 different Ghostface masks to the game, and what allows this challenge to work. I mean, you can't have Ghostface without the mask. With my mask acquired, I set off and searched for the rest of the look, finding a combat knife on a nearby grill, which will be my only weapon that I am able to use for this challenge. The mask and knife is a good start, but I don't think Ghostface runs around in a blue skin-tight onesie. So, after grabbing dog meat for backup, I set off in search for my new clothes. I saw a suicidal Minuteman jump off the balcony and engage some nearby raiders. I stopped to help out, but I left soon after. Finding the right outfit to wear was a tricky thing to pick. There really isn't black robes in the game, and the closest thing on Nexus I could find was a set of Jedi robes by Crimsomrider. However, I didn't think they had the right look, and I decided to use Maxon's Battlecoat, but instead of the normal default colors, I found a retexture that made the entire thing black, except for the gloves, which is a separate mod for some reason. The mods are called Black Maxon's Battlecoat, with all black under armor, and black gloves for Maxon's Battlecoat, both by agentbrea. The black Battlecoat looks super clean, and I hope you guys are okay with it not being Ghostface's flowing Grim Reaper robes. Back to the challenge. I knew that the Battlecoat was a nice alternative to Ghostface's robes, but for what I was planning, I was going to need a lot of coats. That's why I grabbed another mod by Nexus. Craftable Maxon's Battlecoat by YuseiYamoto. Sorry if I butchered that. This mod does exactly what you think. It allows me to craft the Battlecoat in a chemistry station. It also comes out in the all-black variant. With the method to get my outfit figured out, all I needed to do was find the ingredients to craft it. I needed 10 steel and 20 leather, which were easy enough to acquire, but the third ingredient was in short supply, a BOS night uniform, a relatively rare item before the Brotherhood shows up in their airship. I thankfully knew where I could find one and started walking, finding a random bar owner who I murdered for not having an alcohol license. I also stumbled on a triggerman who I also murdered for wearing vertical stripes. I finally am able to find the night uniform on the bodies of a dead patrol. I made my way back to base camp and was ready to craft the coat when I learned that I'm still low on leather. Annoyed, I started to scour the wasteland for leather, tearing it off of corpses and buying it from Trash Can Carla. I could smell it on some idiots holding a diner hostage, and I was able to talk them down well enough, but I got a bit too cocky and ended up in a fight with them. Sadly for them, they brought a gun to a knife fight. With everything scrapped, I am finally able to craft the coat, and it looks incredible. I don't have a hood to complete the look, but I think it looks kind of funny as it is. With my gear all ready, I started the real fun of this challenge and made my way to downtown Boston, stumbling on Good Neighbor where I watch a man get stabbed respect, and unlocked a few important areas for later before finding my destination. I dealt with the raiders outside before entering the combat zone. I started the fight with a sneak attack on a raider before getting demolished by 3 guys at once. Pause. I dealt with them and stripped off their sweet leather. I took a Molotov to the face and nearly died before I was able to take out the last guy and recruit a chem-addicted redhead with anger issues. This is the final mod I installed for the challenge, Unlimited Companion Framework by Expired6978. This mod allows me to recruit every companion and lets them all follow me at the same time. Why did I get this mod, you may be asking? Well, Ghostface isn't usually only one person, and what's better than 2 Ghostfaces? A whole army of them. Let's enjoy the fucking chaos. Knowing I would need more recruits for my army, I paid a visit to a mercenary in the 3rd rail, and after some haggling on the price for his services, I have a brand new recruit. With Kate, McCready, and Dogmeat in tow, I bought some extra knives from Cleo and Daisy before going off in search of some more BOS night uniforms. Our search brought us to the National Guard training yard, where I learned the problem of only having knives. Some things are out of reach, and I am forced to get very close to dangerous enemies who want to bite my ass. I succumbed to a bad case of explosive diarrhea. Trying again, I ignored the turrets and made my way inside, where I let my recruits show me what they were made of, which apparently was tissue paper, as they barely started to fight the horde of feral ghouls before they started dropping like flies, and I was forced to intervene. That may have not been the best showing, but at least I got what I came here for. With my goal achieved, I thought I would try and finish the Lost Patrol mission, and it didn't go well. Kate took a nuke to the face, and I learned what a rocket smelled like. Before learning what it felt like to lose my arms. After biting off more than I could chew, I retreated back to Sanctuary and created a new Battlecoat. However, I have 2 recruits and only 1 coat, and I can only think of one way to see who deserves to wear it. I took the recruits to the museum where Preston is trapped, and after dealing with the raiders on the inside, I talked with the Minutemen, and before I knew it, I'm hopping into a set of power armor and jumping down to the streets below. I got out of the power armor quickly, only to find Trash Can Carla joining the fight. That was a weird sight on its own, but what I came to see was a lot bigger and a lot scalier. Whoever does better gets the coat. I sent my recruits against the monsters. I sat back and enjoyed the show. Kate went down first and McCready got thrown like a rag doll. I tried to heal Kate back up, but my kindness came at a price of a surprise colonoscopy. Trying again, it looked like the Deathclaw was running away from McCready at one point, before it remembered that it was a 2-ton reptilian death machine that proceeded to decimate my recruits and made me run away like a little bitch and making me wish I wore my brown pants. The fight developed into a stabbing match, poking the Deathclaw through a window when it came close. I got to watch it send a raider into the stratosphere before getting tired of getting stabbed in the face and left. Seeing my chance, I healed up my recruits before going after the big lizard. Where could he be? Oh, fuck. I ran for my life using Carla as my distraction and let my recruits take it from there. I even let my super dog take a crack at the beast. Kate got thrown and got stuck before the beast took out Dogmeat, forcing me back into the hardware store to hide, returning to the stabbing game until I tried to escape and heal my teammates again, but I was too late and the Deathclaw was taken out by Preston. I completed the quest with the Minutemen and let them come back to Sanctuary before setting the bare necessities for the settlement and getting some XP for completing the quest. Disappointed with my recruits' effectiveness, I decided to take them to Park Street Station to give them an easier challenge. And they legitimately could not figure out how to go through the fucking door. If I could give the coat to Dogmeat, I would. We descended into the subway station below and cut our way through the triggermen that guarded the way. I even kicked a man in the nuts and did a sweet coordinated attack with McCready. I even saw Kate execute a man in a back room. I was humiliating a triggerman when Kate comes in like a gremlin, stealing the kill, earning a little bit of my respect. We were dealing with the remaining guards until we awakened a fucking kung fu master who defied gravity only to humiliate McCready, and was only able to be taken out by being decapitated by Kate. The rest of the triggermen in the vault were nothing compared to the Kung Fu Master, and someone made the poor decision to punch Kate in the face, only to get humiliated a second later. We rescued the robotic damsel, embarrassed a couple of triggermen, and charmed Darla into attacking Skinny. I sat back and watched my recruits fight off the boss, walking through his bullets only to let Nick finish him off. I agreed to meet Nick back at his agency. Knowing that I would need more recruits here soon, I decided to pay a visit to Bobby No-Nos, starting her quest. I ended up having to fight Mirelurks that were so strong that they knocked down everyone, and I was forced to hide on a pipe to stay alive. I started to revive my recruits one at a time to distract the crabs and allow me to revive the others. This led us to gangbang the remaining Mirelurks, healing anyone who got knocked as we went, until the legendary finally went down and I got rewarded with shit that I cannot use. After getting violently pinched by shellfish, I decided to give Kate her coat, mostly because she needed the extra protection, and then found myself at the public library to pick up the intelligent bobblehead. I dealt with some super mutant intruders and used my newly upgraded intelligence to come up with a foolproof plan of attack. Anyway, since I obviously needed a damage upgrade, I decided to head over to a nearby art gallery. Kate stumbled across a suicider while I wasn't looking, and I was forced to deal with a bunch of raiders that were loitering outside the gallery. When I made it inside, I was trying to make Kate attack some raiders, only for them to trigger a booby trap and blow themselves up. I watched McCready practice his kung fu moves in the background, before crawling into the walls like a mole man. We made our way through the sewers and stumbled upon raiders holding an artist at gunpoint. I dealt with the raiders and was rewarded with the artist's safe key, which held what I came here for. With my new knife in hand, I found some unsuspecting ghouls to stab, and for once in my life didn't immediately kill the railroad. They have Deacon, who I need for a new recruit, but they also have something that I really need. I agreed to help Deacon with his recovery mission, but as I was making my way to the meetup point, I stumbled across a tin man in need of help. I killed the ghouls that were attacking and agreed to help Dance in his recovery mission, which included fighting synths, failing to use technology, and cooking Dance like he was a can of Campbell's chicken noodle soup. God, I am hungry. I finished Dance's mission and got a shit ton of XP out of it. Oh, and a laser rifle. That is about as useful as sandpaper toilet paper. I feel like I'm forgetting something. Oh shit! I finally made it to the rendezvous point with Deacon and proceeded to spend over 2 hours in the railroad questline, only to acquire ballistic weave. But before I could get that sweet fiber, I had to take out a bunch of synths before I am able to collect Carrington's prototype. With that mission finished, I recruited Deacon, flirted with Kate a little bit, started the next mission to ferry a synth to safety. It went off without a hitch. Without a hitch, delivering the synth safe and sound, and I somehow found myself in Valentine's agency, unable to unlock Kellogg's door, but a little sweet-talking the mayor got me the key, and after rummaging through Kellogg's dungeon, finding way too many bottles of oil and weird stains of unknown origin, I am able to recruit Valentine and use dog meat to help me find where Kellogg had gone. However, my undiagnosed ADHD kicked in, and I find myself getting sucked off by a generic mosquito from Florida. With that being said, I went back to the railroad's quest line and found myself on the business end of a rocket launcher. Shit. Trying again, I pumped myself full of jet and leaped across a giant hole to the other side. Never mind. Thankfully, Vats helped me out next time, and I ate that man's rocket like a fucking champ.
What did he say?
After some more raider bullying, I send my recruits off to fight another Deathclaw with some entertaining results, until I am forced to help them out by healing them up whenever they got knocked. The Deathclaw got a bit too close for comfort, and I was forced to pretend to be a bouncy ball for a second, before I'm able to escape the pit and into a swarm of flies. Needing a rest, I set up a new railroad outpost, and when I returned to the crypt, I was finally given the keycard that will get me the ballistic weave. All I have to do is hit this 3-pointer. This'll fit, right? Close enough. I made my way to where the cache was located, wondering what I was going to do about the super mutants outside, only for Deacon to sprint in and absolutely get obliterated by a suicider. Once we got inside the building, McCready also wanted to feel that nuclear load. With McCready causing a distraction, I found the cache and booked it the fuck out of there and back to the crypt, where I learned how to use ballistic weave. With the plans in hand, I went back to Sanctuary and upgraded my coat to 115 ballistic and 65 energy resistance respectively. I even upgraded Kate's coat so she can last longer and made my way to Kellogg's location, getting into a close encounter with a glowing one on the way. I finally made it to where Dogmeat was waiting and enjoyed watching my army try and fight the turrets outside. We've made it inside and tore our way through the synths that were guarding the building, ragdolling in one with its own turret. I let my army take out some synths on their own as we continued our way through the compound until we come face to face with the bald bastard himself. I started the fight by attacking Kellogg, but then switched to taking out his guards and then sat back and enjoyed the show of my army destroying that man by 1,000 paper cuts. Once they finished their rampage, I rifled through Kellogg's brain and looked through his search history. I left Kellogg's compound and witnessed the arrival of the Brotherhood of Steel. However, before I met with them, I went and grabbed Piper as another recruit, and as I made my way to Good Neighbor to complete the Kellogg Mind Quest, I stopped and bought some ballistic fiber from Cleo. I talked with the doctor, crawled into the memory pod, tap danced my way through Kellogg's childhood memories, before emerging on the other side knowing exactly where I needed to go. I got a quest from Kate to send her to Alcoholics Anonymous, before I started talking to rejected Buzz Lightyear about a blimp ride. I got my wish as we soared through the sky, docked at the Pridwin, listened to a finely dressed man talk, and was forced to talk with the 4 horsemen of boredom before I'm able to recruit Dance. Holy shit. After acquiring Dance, I started to buy BOS uniforms from Tegan to create more coats, but for some reason, he only carries 1 in stock at a time, so I have to wait multiple times for him to restock, and after getting enough uniforms, I grab a few shipments of leather and proceeded to craft multiple coats for my army. McCready finally got his coat. I gave one to Piper. Nick can't wear one, but he's cool enough without it. Deacon was being a little stubborn, refusing to put on his coat. Enough to where I got annoyed and made my way to Diamond City to meet up with Bobby No-Nose to continue her quest line. I bribed a guard to let Bobby's friend out of jail. I finally am able to put a coat on Deacon before making my way to Bobby's dig site. The heist started off great as I nearly shit myself in the presence of a Mirelurk team. It got better further in as I watched my growing army destroy the ghouls in the subway tunnels. They even piled onto a glowing one in a mass of stabbing knives and black leather. We are finally able to make it to the end of the tunnel, and after one last explosion, we are confronted by Hancock's right hand, Fahrenheit. Bobby said that we were going to break into the Diamond City storeroom, but instead we broke into Hancock's instead. Not wanting to get on Hancock's bad side, I talked Bobby into leaving, apologized to Fahrenheit, and then met up with the big man back at Good Neighbor. I recruited Hancock, but before we could leave, he wanted to give a speech to his people. The speech must have been very boring, cause Piper went all, "Fuck this shit, I'm out." She landed hard, and when I healed her up, she is launched away from the balcony like unwanted trash. After Piper picked herself up, I gave Hancock his mask and coat while we made our way to finish off one of McCready's quests to kill some of his old gunner friends. After exploring some highways, I got a bit too close to an Assaultron who turned my asshole into mashed potatoes. Trying again, my army was having fun fighting a bear in a shack, and afterward, I grabbed Kate and McCready, putting them on a lift with me so that I would have some backup. Alright guys, let's do this! Trying again, I focused on destroying that stupid fucking Assaultron, and only after I finally turned that thing into scrap metal did I finish off the rest of the gunners. I scared a guy in Power Armor so much that he shit out a nuke. With everything else taken care of, I made sure that Winlock and Barnes knew what my knife felt like. I talked with McCready to finish the quest, and then made my way to Vault 95 to help Kate with her chem addiction. We absolutely bullied our way through a rat scorpion on the way, before we are forced to fight through 2 Assaultrons at a time. I nearly got my ass singed off again before we were able to take them down. Kate got a bit too cozy in some rocks. I finished off the gunners outside, and I am forced to smell Dance's mechanized ass in a very tight elevator ride. What is it with gunners and always having Assaultrons ready to turn my ass to ashes? Trying again. Oh shit! The Assaultron got a quadruple kill on my army that were stuck in the elevator. Thankfully, Dance is able to take a lot of punishment, and we are able to whittle the death machine down enough to kill it. I healed up my teammates, stole a bunch of the gunner's chems. They didn't like that. I used my resources next time, killing the legendary and making a gunner jump for joy in the cafeteria, before we were finally able to reach the detox room. The last gunner came out swinging and was swallowed up by a sea of black coats and stabbing knives. We got a few good hits in, but that didn't stop Kate's foot finding his balls, or McCready's knife from finding his throat. Continuing the quest, I talked with Kate, started the detox procedure, and watched as Kate was subjected to terrible pain and suffering in the name of cleaning her addiction. After the procedure, she was no longer addicted to chems, and I decided to change out her stoned mask with a normal one. With that taken care of, we can finally leave. McCready? After finishing the quest, I made it back to Sanctuary, where I recruit Codsworth for the party, and I gave Kate's stoned mask to the true chem junkie of the group. I got a cool shot of my growing army, but I found myself missing a few. I was in need of a cute French accent, and I knew exactly where to find one. While on my way to Vault 81, I stumbled across an encounter with the extraterrestrial variety. I even watched my army fight another bear. Codsworth did so well, I rewarded him with his very own bowler hat. I gained access to Vault 81, where a random cat ran out the door. I told a story to a bunch of gremlins, and I even gave them some of my blood. I better get a cookie for this. With all that done, I left to go find the cat, and when I came back to the vault, a child had fallen ill when he got bit by a deadly mole rat. I am given the mission to go find the cure for this boy's illness, which can be found in a secret section of the vault. However, if I get bit by these mole rats, then I would also get the illness, which would be a permanent effect if I use the cure on the boy. Just don't get bit, you may be saying. But for some goddamn reason, if my companions get bit, I also have a chance of catching the disease. Since I almost have enough companions to start my own NFL team, I decided to use a different method, which involves a trash can and jumping through reality to end up on the other side of a wall where I can take a normally inaccessible elevator down where Curie is located. Also, what should our NFL team name be? Leave your ideas in the comments. We find Curie in the secret portion of the vault. She gives us the cure. We save the kid. Deacon is a special little boy, and we are finally able to recruit Curie. Almost done recruiting new members, I stopped by Trinity Tower to pick up a milk-obsessed Shrek knockoff. I got stuck behind Codsworth's fat ass, and Dog Meat took a chunk out of a Super Mutant's cake, before I find myself facing off against the leader Fist. Just like his namesake, he enjoyed the ruthless fisting that my army gave his chocolate onion ring. We freed Strong, I got the melee bobblehead, and Dog Meat couldn't figure out how to work a lift. We were making a good pace when Rex decided to method act as a fucking door, and I really wanted to kick in his doorknob. We reached the bottom of the tower, and I was able to recruit Strong into the army. With my army nearly completed, I made my way back to Sanctuary, where I flirted with Piper a little bit. I covered up Strong's non-existent pepperoni nipples, and then made our way to a nearby settlement in order to unlock Preston. We were sent off to kill a raider boss, and Strong got to show why he was such a good addition to the party. After completing the mission, we were leaving the compound when Strong tried to pick up a pipe rifle and shoot at a passing Brotherhood vertibird, and I had to take it away like a parent taking away scissors from a big, green, angry child. We finally made it back to the settlement and turned in the quest, allowing me to recruit Preston into the fold. I sadly didn't have a coat for him, and I had to go back to the Pridwin in order to make more. I was able to craft some on the ship, but right when I was going to give it to Preston, I got distracted and sent my army off to kill a Deathclaw. They did really well. So well, I sent them against a horde of feral ghouls, which turned into an all-out melee between my army and a couple of scorpions. While this was going on, I remembered Preston and stripped him down mid-fight and squeezed him into this coat, before letting them finish off the scorpions. We stumbled across Virgil's guard dog, and Preston is making me wonder why I added him in the first place. Where were we? My army was able to take down the beast. I talked with Virgil, and he sends me off to kill a courser that's terrorizing a group of gunners. We ruthlessly made our way through the gunners blocking our way, and I believe the rocket gunner wasted all of her ammo on my advancing army, making this climb all the easier as I stabbed my way through the gunners. I painted the walls red, and was finally able to challenge the courser. And by challenge, I mean letting my knife-wielding maniacs have him. Codsworth may have gone a little overboard with the fire, but that's why I love him. With the courser defeated, I grabbed his brain chip and was dreading where I would have to go next in order to decode it. I took the chip to the railroad and got to watch McCready pretend to be official with his clipboard, and watch Strong learn how to use a computer. Tinker Tom was able to get the chip decoded, and I was able to get the plans for the teleporter from Virgil. However, before I built anything, I went off to complete some more settlement quests, and somehow ended up at the satellite site from earlier. It went a lot better than before. A lot better than before, since I now have a few more bodies to throw at the super mutants. After finishing off the remaining super mutants, I find myself at Finch Farm and was sent to go find their idiot of a son. We dealt with the fire-worshipping raiders. I landed on someone's head, and when we entered the boss room, I was inches away from falling into a vat of molten metal because all of my companions pushed me around to make room on the small platform. While the boss was giving a long speech, I snuck up behind him and shoved my blade in between his robotic ass cheeks before jumping away for safety. I was going to let my army take care of them, but for some reason, they refused to fight the boss, and I was forced to take the lead. After stabbing the boss enough, my team finally decided to come and help, and I got to watch Dogmeat absolutely obliterate a poor man. With that taken care of, and the son acquired, I was on my way to return him when I was able to romance Kate with my Ghostface charm. We returned the son to his family. I made my way to Dr. Amari to drop off Curie for her personal quest. After dropping off Curie, we were on our way to complete another settling quest, and a super mutant suicider nearly team-wiped my entire army. We moved on to killing a whole swarm of mosquitoes, and I even found Deacon getting sucked dry in the attic. I unlocked the settlement and reported my success to the settlers, and finally unlocked the quest to retake the castle. On my way to retake the castle, I stumbled across a strange guy selling something called a charge card. This thing is such a scam. Hancock popped in to give me the "you better fucking not" look. I refused the charge card, and I was going to let him live until... Hey, you're insulting the wrong motherfucker. I gave the guy a poke in the butt, and then let my army swarm him until he is taken down, letting me finish the job. Moving on, we did a little more raider killing, before finally finding Preston outside the castle. I admired my army before absolutely sending it, sprinting deep into the mirelurks that guarded the castle. It wasn't long before my army joined me, and I left them to fight off the rest of the crustaceans. We must have been doing a really good job at killing, cause their mama didn't look all that happy when she appeared from the ocean. I tried to get a good look at the fight, only to get spit on multiple times. I even used Strong as a human shield at one point, but that didn't work all that well. Thankfully, my teammates didn't let me down and vanquished the Queen with relative ease. I finished the quest and finally returned to Sturgis in order to build the interceptor plans we had gotten from Virgil. I built the giant machine, powered it up, and even upgraded my armor further. However, I wanted to have everyone, so I hopped over to where Curie was being kept, and I watched her turn into a real girl. Dear God! A girl who doesn't know what personal space is. I think I can see a cavity. I gave Curie her mask and coat before making a quick stop at a nearby tower where the strength bobblehead was being held. The gunners were such a non-threat that I take a rocket to the face and laugh as I coat my knife with their blood. I got a sweet shot and threw a gunner at like a sack of potatoes when the gaming gods deemed me too powerful to continue and caused my game to crash. Oh, it's cute they think that'll stop me. Coming back from the void, I take out the rocket gunner and tore my way through the remaining gunners, nearly throwing one of them into a fire. I grabbed the bobblehead and then parkoured my way down to the ground floor so I can leave. At some point, I started to realize that Kate was nowhere to be found. I even returned to the Ironworks because that was the last place I remember seeing her. Next, I checked Finch Farms, but I was interrupted by a random attack which involved a missile-happy raider. We dealt with the raiders and still couldn't find Kate anywhere I looked. After a while, I said fuck it and spawned her in using console commands. I spent all this time doing her personal quests, and I wasn't going to have her just disappear on me. With everyone back, I stood on the interceptor platform, and with a zap of energy, I am inside the Institute. I downloaded their plans and went to go meet with the guy in charge. You guys are probably thinking that I'll join the Institute in order to recruit X688. To those thinking that, why would I want to recruit someone with the personality of a toaster? Hell, the toaster has more personality! Besides, I was always planning to destroy the Institute anyway. I showed Father the business end of my knife, took his clothes, and then booked it back to the teleporter, fighting my way through the guards until I'm able to teleport my way out of the Institute. I returned to Sanctuary, gave Sturgis his intel holotape, and informed Preston that the Institute was now our enemy. With that being said, we needed to finish a few more settlement quests before we were able to continue the main story, and I take my army to the satellite station to take on a raider who found a minigun. I grabbed the locket we came for, and I am blessed by the challenge gods as a legendary radroach was carrying a furious combat knife somewhere inside its massive body. This makes each consecutive hit on the same enemy cause more damage. This is an insanely good legendary effect on any weapon, even though I'm unaware if it would be any better than my bleeding knife. which I've been using this whole time. Aside from fighting a new weapon, I returned the locket to the Abernathy family, and was finally able to return to the main quest line. I met with Ronnie Shaw at the castle. She wants to gain access to the armory, and I am always open for more chaos. Sadly, that chaos led to my body getting absolutely melted by a turret. Further into the bowels of the castle, I sneak up on a sentry bot and let my army handle the majority of the fight. I grabbed the plans, built the mortar, and rained death upon that vacant parking lot. With that taken care of, I started to prepare the castle's defenses against the Institute's attack by plugging up any of the holes in the walls and placing turrets. I even set up some traps that may or may not be in violation of the Geneva Conventions. Before we could fight the Institute, I had to do a few more settlement missions that brought me to a nearby raider camp. Oh look, a vertibird. I moved on to deal with the raiders, but for some reason, I didn't see any of my army fighting. Why do you guys keep getting attacked by bears? Aside from the bear attack, I did some Looney Tunes shit to a raider, and was able to finish off the raider boss in order to complete the mission. I reported my success and moved on to another settlement, who sends me out to clear Jamaica Plains of the ghoul infestation. Killing the ghouls were very simple after being such a high level at this point, and I was just waiting for the assault quest to pop up. Finally, after finishing this last settlement quest, I am able to start the castle defense mission. I returned, and after a good night's sleep, I woke up to a whole lot of synths on my front lawn. I came out expecting a fight, only to get mesmerized by a vertibird who was stumbling around like a drunk uncle, just waiting for it to explode. I got bored watching the vertibird and started to actually fight the synths that were attacking, teaching coursers why they shouldn't fuck with us. My brain wasn't braining for a second as I surveyed the battle from the parapets, helping out here and there as I go. However, I may be powerful. Sometimes I don't pay attention to my health, and a lucky courser was able to take me out. The next time through, I was having a lot of fun bullying these two synths on top of the castle. I made my way down to take out a courser, and my knife may or may not have found a neck extend tab. Thankfully, no one seemed to see that, as I immediately went back to stabbing synths like nothing happened. I accidentally kicked Kate as I was trying to throw a synth off the wall, and got to watch as the tin head slowly rolled down the hill in a funny ragdoll. I jumped on a courser from above and threw him around like a toy. However, this led me to get a bit too cocky, leading to another death by a laser to the ass. Aside from me and my army chasing a ghost through the castle, nothing else stopped us from destroying the Institute's assault. Completing the quest and entering the endgame, I grabbed my army and learned of a secret entrance to the Institute from Sturges. And aside from Piper getting really into stabbing raiders, I got to watch Codsworth go all scorched earth on a mosquito one last time as I made my way to the entrance. We found the way in, I entered the passcode, and I immediately got melted by a random turret. I was surprised by the speed they destroyed me, and I tried to send my companions to distract the turrets so I could take them out. For some reason, the Institute has a big feral ghoul problem in their sewers, including a goddamn glowing one for some reason. I continued my way through the guards and found my way into the Institute. I teleported the Minuteman in and then started the assault on the Institute, which involved us going through the bowels of the compound, stabbing our way through anything that got in our way. The compact quarters of the Institute made it hard for my army to move, which made me have to fight on my own a few times, but my code helped me take a lot of the damage. I did the obligatory destroying the random sentry bot before making my way into the Institute proper, where I got to fight hand to hand with a fucking robot gorilla. They were formidable foes, however they fell to our superior numbers, allowing us to destroy the remaining synths. We emerged into the main Institute area and went on the offensive against anything that moved. We continued our massacre throughout the Institute, and I find the most unfortunate courser in the world. God, I hope they don't make synths anatomically correct. Question for Fallout lore masters. Do synths pack dongles, or are they rocking the Ken doll aesthetic? Asking for a friend. Back to the challenge. I let my army take out the last legendary enemy, who thought it would be a good idea to only use a stick to fight off 11 psychopaths with knives. I didn't know Father could bust it down like that, damn. Sadly, he got tired and I had to put him to bed before unlocking the rest of the Institute, allowing me to continue my way through the Continuing our way through the Institute, tearing our way through the halls and dismantling their measly defenses. Until we make it to the reactor room, I immediately focused on the synths in black armor, meaning they were the most dangerous things in the room, packing a flamer and missile launcher respectively. However, when I can hit someone and knock their weapon out of their hands, they aren't that formidable. I set the charge on the reactor and waited for the teleportation. However, since I have so many companions, they all have to be transported before me, making me wait a lot longer than normal. I grabbed my robotic runt and stepped into the teleporter, ready to get the hell out of here. At some point, it was taking so long to teleport me, I thought I broke the quest, until I finally felt the shock in my ballsack, and I am teleported to the top of Mass Fusion Building. I took in my army one last time, before pressing the big red button and witnessing the destruction of the Institute, proving that yes, you can be Fallout 4 as Ghostface. I hope everyone enjoyed the video. I was unsure of what horror villain to pick for this video, but after thinking of the Ghostface army idea, I knew I had to try it out. If you liked the video, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good shit. And please leave your suggestions for future challenge videos in the comments below. It doesn't have to be Fallout. I'll try any challenge idea if I find it interesting enough. With that being said, hope you guys enjoyed. Love you guys. See ya.